when you're a kid with selective mutism. When you have selective mutism as a kid, you naturally speak very quietly and slowly and hesitantly. Talking takes an insurmountable amount of courage. It's literally the scariest and bravest thing you do. It seems to come so easily to everyone around you, which is why you feel so isolated. When you're a kid with selective mutism, getting yourself to talk is like pulling teeth. There's a process you go through every time you have to say something. First, the thought of what you want to say. 2, the fear stops you. 3, you try and convince yourself it won't be that bad. 4, the fear stops you again. 5, you practice the words in your head, get down exactly what you want to say. You practice saying it over and over in your head. Go through every possible outcome, every possible reaction the person might have. You do this over and over until you're sure it's flawless. Number 6, it's flawless. But for some reason, you still can't say it. You still can't bring yourself to raise your hand in class and ask to use the bathroom. It's just too scary. You still can't go up to anyone on the playground at recess and ask to play with them. You still can't say anything at lunchtime when the kids right across from you and right next to you are having a conversation that you so badly want to be a part of. When you're a kid with selective mutism, there's a force stronger than your will holding you back. And because of this, the words get stuck in your throat every time. Except ever so often, you break through and you speak. You raise your hand. You ask for help. You say hello. You do the most basic thing for other people. But for you, it's the biggest win ever. And that was my childhood. It's not funny. If you are a kid struggling with selective mutism, or a teen, or an adult, listen. 1, you're doing your best. Be patient with yourself. Be kind to yourself. Having selective mutism is one of the hardest, most frustrating things a person can have. People think you're choosing not to talk, and that's really not the case at all. Know that you're not alone. There are so many people all over the world who have selective mutism just like you. Growing up, I didn't really think of there being other people like me, and I definitely never met anyone else like me. So that made it really hard, but when I was a teenager, I discovered videos of other people with selective mutism on YouTube, and that was the most amazing feeling ever because I spent most of childhood trying to pretend like I didn't have it when I did. And once you recognize what you have, which it's just a social anxiety disorder, we were born with it. We couldn't really control it. Or maybe we weren't born with it. Maybe we developed it. The point is, it's not your fault. And another thing is, you're not gonna struggle with this forever. Trust me. If you saw me as a kid, you would not believe that I used to be that kid. My selective mutism was so extreme. I was literally frozen in school. It was really hard, and I'm gonna make a video called My Selective Mutism Story where I'm gonna talk about my selective mutism story from childhood till now. And I can say now, at age 26, that I've pretty much overcome my social anxiety. If I can do it, you can definitely do it. I'm gonna make another video on how I overcame my social anxiety, and I'm gonna give you steps that you can follow, actual steps. Be patient with yourself. Try to talk to your parents and show them videos online and websites online so that you can help them understand. And you can do the same with your friends. Get a therapist if you can, or a counselor, and tell them that your main goal is to overcome your social anxiety. And together with them, you can set goals and work together. That's one of the biggest things that helped me. If you're a parent and your kid has social anxiety, specifically if your kid has selective mutism, they are fighting an internal battle that you can't see. And you really have to do a lot of research on the disorder and talk to professionals and get your kid in therapy. And the thing that you have to know about therapy is when you have selective mutism, it's going to take you longer than other people to even be able to talk comfortably with your therapist. But that's okay. It's going to take time. When I had my first therapist, I was so uncomfortable. I could barely say anything. I could just answer yes or no questions. But over time, I was able to elaborate and say sentences and talk about more and more. Be patient with your kid. Just try to understand them and try to make them feel like you're listening and you want to understand them more. Because feeling misunderstood when you have selective mutism is so frustrating. It's already frustrating enough having it. Feeling misunderstood just adds to that. And you're gonna feel misunderstood if you have selective mutism. It's just gonna happen. Like, most people will not understand where you're coming from. But if your parents can try to understand, and your family and your closest friends, then that helps. And lastly, if you're a friend or a classmate or an acquaintance of someone who has selective mutism or social anxiety in general, please don't call them shy. We hate that because we're not shy. We literally just have an anxiety disorder. Don't call us weird or quiet, because most likely we're trying so hard not to be called those things. And when we feel like we're doing an amazing job and being loud and talking a lot, people still say, oh, why are you so quiet, or why aren't you talking, when to us we're talking a lot. Because when you have social anxiety and selective mutism, even doing the littlest thing, like going up to someone new at school and saying hello, or how are you, or what's your name, or can I sit next to you at lunch, that may seem super small to an outgoing person and someone who doesn't have an anxiety disorder, but to someone with social anxiety, that's like the biggest thing ever. Like, we could have prepped for a week for that one tiny thing. So I can handle it now when I'm called shy, or actually no, I still frustrates me. And I did make an entire video called Why Are You So Quiet, because that's how much it bothered me throughout my life. Sometimes it still bothers me now. Don't hear it as often. Okay, stay tuned for more selective mutism videos, and hang in there. If you have selective mutism, hang in there.